All right. Hello, everybody. Happy Monday. I am so excited to be on this Monday night call with you all and to introduce you to our beautiful guest speaker tonight. So Erica and I met last week. I guess it was last week already. And we were chatting a little bit before on Instagram because we both are consultants here on the island, which don't live far from each other. And we just got to talking and I got to hear her story last week and it really impacted me. And just, I love that Arbonne literally is for everyone and just so many different walks of life and just her journey and where she's been on so far with this journey and how much she's overcome and just everything has just been so inspiring. And so I asked her to speak tonight. I know she had to work full day today too. So thank you, Erica, for making this work. But I don't want to say too much more. I'm going to pass it over to you and let you share and take it away.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Thanks for having me tonight, Chelsea. So yeah, crazy busy day working. It's actually my husband's 40th birthday today too. So there's a lot going on, but it's such an honor to be here tonight and to be asked to speak and hang out with all of you tonight. So I'll just kind of jump right in, I guess. So my name's Erica Walter. I'm an independent consultant and district manager with Arbonne. I'm a wife and mom of a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old. I have an award-winning wedding and lifestyle photography business. I'm a multi-passionate community pharmacist, and I've been practicing pharmacy for 16 years. So that's kind of me in a nutshell. I'm curious, is there any other healthcare professionals here tonight? You guys can like light up the chat or like show me your face or like wave at me or something. I don't know, maybe not. Anyways, maybe somebody who hears the recording is, and this will land. So I'm actually reading my notes because I know that if I don't follow my notes, I'm going to totally go rogue. And so I got to do that. So if you see me looking over to the left, it's because I'm reading along. So I was introduced to this brand a long time ago. I started using Arbonne products around the same time that I graduated from university. My pharmacist colleague, and actually now my upline, introduced me to the skincare and I loved it. I enjoyed the clean and effective ingredients. And let's be honest, this product was delivered directly to my door. So I was a busy new graduate. I was working a lot and living in a rural area of the South Okanagan in a community where I didn't have any access to skincare other than like what was available at Shoppers Drug Mart. And it was 2007, you guys. We weren't ordering skincare online like we do now. So I continued to use the Arbonne skincare on and off for about 10 years. I thought I would paint a little bit of a picture of what my life looked like before Arbonne was introduced to me as a business, just to kind of give you my professional background a little bit. So I mentioned at the start that I'm a community pharmacist. I've been practicing in rural communities across southern Manitoba and BC for the course of my career this far. I'm passionate about pharmacy innovation and enabling pharmacists to work to their full scope in providing optimal patient care. So I was managing the dispensary at our local full service community pharmacy. I oversaw all pharmacy operations. I participated as an active dispensing pharmacist. I directed a staff of approximately 10 to 15 people. We filled about 200 prescriptions a day, and in addition provided clinical services such as like medication consultations, vaccinations, opioid antagonist therapy, specialty compounding, and I could go on and on. The point is that we were busy. We were growing. We were developing models for optimal patient care. We were getting provincial accolades, and I loved it. I did this for about 8 years, and then we decided to start a family. And I thought, being the career woman that I would step away for 6 months for a maternity leave, and that would be totally fine. 15 months later, I tearfully returned to work on a part-time basis as a staff pharmacist, completely stepping away from my management role, or so I thought. So 3 months into my leave, the new manager left, and I was sort of thrust back into a role with really no choice in the matter. 2 months later, I found out that I was pregnant with our second child, my daughter. And 2 weeks after that, the pandemic started. So yeah, it was crazy. Staff started dropping like flies. There were international drug shortages. Patients were anxious about drug supply, and that just continued to build and build kind of as the weeks wore on. We were now filling close to about double the volume with half the staff, and our 8-hour days turned into 14 and 16-hour days, and we were left alone for the most part, wondering if and when we would ever catch a break. my husband's an independent contractor. He decided to like pause his operations and stay home with our son while I went to work. There really was no end in sight, it felt at the time, as the pandemic seemed to be raging on. My midwife was encouraging me to try to step out on stress leave, but I couldn't because there wasn't actually a replacement for me in the community and people weren't moving around. And so we were trying to recruit pharmacists from off the island, but people weren't moving at that point in the pandemic. So it was like just this crazy time. If I didn't show up to work, the pharmacy couldn't open, my staff couldn't go to work, and patients wouldn't be able to access their prescription meds. So I don't say this to be dramatic, but to just paint like a real life picture of what life looked like for me. In case you didn't know, like a drugstore can't open if the pharmacist doesn't show up to work. So that's a lot of it's like we already carry a lot of responsibility, but that's a pretty big, like, I don't want to say burden, but it kind of is, right? You got to show up. You just do, rain or shine. So in September of 2022, I left to have my baby because I was going to have it on the floor of the dispensary if that didn't happen. So I literally was like, this is it, I'm out. And so that's what happened. I knew then that I would never find myself in a position where I was carrying that much responsibility and pressure for another person or association or corporation's gain. It was a lot, you guys. I love the patient care that I get to provide as a pharmacist. I love the relationships that I'm able to build with patients and the real life difference that I make to people on an everyday basis. Like, I know that and I don't take it for granted. And it's what I love about the profession that I'm in. The combination of the effects of the pandemic while growing a family shifted my priorities in a way that I could have never predicted otherwise. So fast forward to the fall of 2021. At this point now, I had been at home on maternity leave for the second time. I had a 1-year-old and a 3-year-old. I was feeling depleted, like most of us do kind of at that point. Like having 2 little people at home is a lot. It's demanding. So I felt a little depleted, a little lonely. And like all my pandemic mamas, like, you guys know what I'm saying. It was a pretty lonely time. Overall, just kind of in a low point. I knew that I wasn't serving myself the way I needed to. I loved my babies and the opportunity I had to stay home, but I knew I needed to do something needed to change in order to serve myself better and to take better care of myself. And I know that, like I'm a healthcare professional, I know I need to take care of myself. But it's so crazy how even us, and I'm generalizing that, like even healthcare professionals sometimes need a little help doing that. I was surviving on toast scraps, y'all. I had been working with a life coach and she introduced me to the basics of habit tracking, which I found really fascinating and motivating. I bought a Peloton bike and I started biking during nap time. And the same time, my pharmacist colleague, who I mentioned at the start, who introduced me to skincare like all those years ago, we were chatting and she suggested that I try some Arbonne protein and fizz. And I sort of was like, you mean those like cutie little like ginseng sticks that you've been sending me in the mail? And she was like, yeah, just like try it already. So, okay. So I was like, all right, eye roll, cue the eye roll. All right, I'll do it. And the protein too, like I thought, oh, like I've tried every protein in the pharmacy and like the huge crazy looking tubs that say like mega muscles on them and all of this. And I was like, I don't know, but I thought, you know what do I have to lose? So I ordered the protein, I ordered the coffee protein, and I ordered some fizz, and I freaking loved it. And I loved it a lot. And it's so crazy. I like embarrassingly think of like how I eye rolled and was like, oh, I don't know about all this. And then like, it started to change. I started to see real change in myself. And so I believe in the value of Arbonne products as a mom and as a professional. I experienced real change myself. I saw an opportunity in the business, but I was not looking to start an online business. But it was the opportunity that really like piqued my interest. And so I closed my eyes and I signed up as a consultant on my own. I think my pharmacist friend fell over when she got that email because I think it was the last thing in the world she expected, but here we are. So I did that and then I did nothing for 3 months. I tuned into calls. I did a lot of reading and watching. and mostly spent a lot of that time like wrestling with my ego. Um, the what ifs. I had a lot of like personal work to do to like get over myself. Um, and I think this comes from because as a pharmacist, um, I'm in a position of health influence. And so pharmacists are consistently polled by Ipsos Reid year after year as the #1 most trusted and most accessible healthcare professional in Canada. So this made me cautiously optimistic about the products, respecting the responsibility that I carry as a professional. But this also put me in a really great position to start sharing what I loved and what was actually working for me, and that was safe for me, safe for my kids, and safe for other people. Um, so if I could get over myself and start sharing it, like what a great thing that could be. So pharmacists are trained in the provision of patient education and health communication. I watched all these other people doing this and I thought, man, like if others can do this business, like why not me? So after a while, I came up with a vision. And so my vision is to utilize my pharmacist skill set inside, but also outside of a brick and mortar typical pharmacy setting to serve others and connect them with clean wellness products with the goal of hopefully gaining a more flexible lifestyle. I promoted to district manager about 6 weeks after deciding to put some effort into my Arbonne business and committing to it in March of 2022. I started off with the goal of offsetting my own purchases. And if I could make like $200 a month, like wicked. My vision continues to grow and change the more I learn about this company. And I'm excited about the opportunity and the freedom and flexibility it has, the potential to bring to my life and the life of so many people. I had no idea that Arbonne would bring so much community support and personal growth into my life. It's really hard to explain. Like, I didn't know I needed it in my life, and now it's hard to imagine it without it. Like, I look forward to the weekly calls. I love connecting with the people on my team and like new people that I'm meeting all the week and like all the time at like the Discover Arbonne events and all this, and like consultants like you guys. Like, it's just so great. It's something that in my almost 20-year professional career, no employer has ever offered me. Through Arbonne, I've grown my social circle, I've strengthened relationships with teammates, I've rekindled old friendships. I text with people on a daily basis, and the strength and support I've found within this organization is like nothing else I've come across so far. So I think I'm going to just pivot a little bit here. So I think being a pharmacist or healthcare professional, many people would think that somebody like me would not be interested in a business like this. And so I kind of wanted to touch on that and answer. So why, as a pharmacist, was I drawn to this business? So firstly, the business model just made sense to me. The earnings are real and fair. And as a professional, my earnings are based on how many hours I commit on a weekly basis. No matter how much more I take on, no matter how many vaccinations I give, med reviews I do, people's lives I change, it's still fixed, okay? And we know that with Arbonne, there's no cap to what we can earn. So there's no cap on like how many different people you help and serve in a week and do and lives you change and all the connections you make. That can go on and on and on in infinity and beyond. And that's so cool. That's amazing. I guess the other thing I would say is like, I know what the alternatives are for wellness and healthcare products firsthand, and I'm not a fan. Healthcare is such a demanding environment, and many healthcare professionals are looking for alternative ways to support their well-being so that they can stay in a career that they love, or they're looking for ways to supplement their income so they can afford to step back from the pressures that just continue to build as our population ages exponentially right now. We're run down, we're burnt out, and we need wellness products, you guys. We need support and we need self-care habits too. So share with us, don't be shy. I've been happily surprised by how many of my colleagues have jumped on to try the products and they love them. I personally know 3 other pharmacists, a dentist and an RN that have moved from clients to consultants, and 3 of those which are on my team. So that's pretty cool. In case no one has told you, we're allowed to be good at more than one thing. We're allowed to change our minds. And that's such a beautiful thing. I returned to work with a new employer after baby number 2, and I found better work-life balance as a pharmacist. I'm more aware of how and who I spend my time with. I still shoot some gorgeous weddings here and there. I work Arbonne in between the cracks of my really full life, and I feel like I'm just getting started. I promise you guys, there's so much more to your journey and your story and mine than where we are right now. So keep planting for the gardens of tomorrow, because because though you might not see what you will reap today, you will come to find that when we invest in our future selves consistently, life blossoms more fully and beautifully than we can ever imagine. And that's awesome. And I guess I'll just close with, that's kind of like my formal speech part, but I just wanted to say, like, it would be awesome to connect with you guys on Instagram. I don't know if Chelsea shares my contact or how that really works, but I've had it a few times already where I've had other consultants reach out to me with like health related questions regarding Arbonne. And I can comment on those things. I know, like, we're, as consultants, we're not, Chelsea can probably speak to this better than I can, but we're not supposed to chime in about health related things. But I, as a professional, I can lean on that background and comment on that. And so if you have specific questions or like issues you want to discuss with somebody, feel free to reach out. I'm happy to chime in. That's all I want to say. Thanks for having me here.
Erica, oh my goodness. Thank you so much for speaking.
I didn't cry.
Woohoo! You're not crying. No, and that's okay to cry, right? It's amazing. And when I heard your story last week, I was just like, wow, like just your whole story. And I think for a lot of people, they look at you, like they said, they could be like, oh, you don't need the income per se, right? But that is more reason, like you said, because more people want to supplement their income, especially nowadays with like the cost of living, or like just maybe having that little bit of extra time they can spend with their family or do something for themselves. And I love that you obviously acknowledge that you needed some change in your life, which I think we can all relate to at one point in our life as well, especially for me. And the fact that you were like, what do I have to lose? And it's so true, because nothing changes if nothing changes. But if you decide to jump in and just take that leap of faith, it could ultimately change your whole life, right? And not only because it's just some silly little fizz stick or some protein, but like it's so much more than that. And I love that you just share it so authentically. And I love that you have that knowledge. And I love that it has given you more opportunity to, go back to work, but on your own terms as well, right? And something that you get
a big one,
not so stressful. So yeah, if you want to pop in the chat, you can pop like your Instagram handle in the chat, but I can also share it with everybody afterwards as well. But I absolutely love this community. I love that it brought us together as well, because I didn't know you before. I know Brittany Johnston was like, yeah, you got to chat with Erica. I was like, Erica who? I don't know. But I'm so glad, because I feel like we will be lifelong friends. And like, honestly, you're not that far away from me. So I'm like, let's get together for a walk. But I don't know if anyone has any questions for Erica since we're on here. If you guys do, please feel free to ask. If not, that's totally fine. But I did want to mention as well, Erica, I believe you had like 10 brand new PCs last month. Is that correct?
Yeah. I did.
I just want to shout her out for that too. Like, she's just like on fire. She's rocking and rolling. Aww. And again, like, no excuses, right? She could be like, oh, I've had a hard day at work, or I have kids, or I'm doing my lifestyle photography in between XYZ. But again, like you said, you sprinkle it in throughout the day, and you're just getting started. I see great big things for you, friend. And I'm so excited to watch your journey. And again, thank you so much for sharing with us tonight. Sorry, I'm just going to check the chat real quick here. Yep. I don't think anyone has any comments or anything, but yeah, if you want to pop in, yeah, you got your Instagram handle. Perfect. Yep. Amazing. You guys, I'm still learning all this stuff and recordings and all the things, so bear with me here. But thank you again, Erica, so much. And are you coming to Vegas?
Yes.
Amazing. So you guys will meet Erica in Vegas. So
my first time.
I'm so excited. You are going to absolutely love it.
Who's coming?
Yes. Who's coming? Raise your hands if you're coming. They actually extended the early bird till the end of this month, I believe. So get your ticket if you haven't gotten it already, you guys. Do not miss out. Do not have FOMO. Like, you will literally not regret it. Vegas changed my whole life and my whole business. I don't care if that sounds cheesy. It's 100% true. And you guys need to be there. You need to make it work. You need to make a plan. You need to figure it out. You need to sell some clothes if you need to, whatever you got to do to get there and get your ticket. Like, honestly, it is so worth it. And I cannot wait to see you guys there. So have an amazing Monday, you guys. Thank you again, Erica, so much. And we will talk to you guys soon.
Okay. Bye. Bye.